Right, welcome everyone. Welcome to Diners Diary. I just want to use this opportunity to welcome all of you, especially my guest, Mr. Conan. Thank you so much, Mr. Conan. I know you have so much responsibilities, at your hands, and you take care of. But regardless, you are more than happy to grace this platform for me and to share your experience and the knowledge that you've gotten with regards to debt management. Without wasting much time, I'm so sorry that we had to go through all this TikTok, operations, and we couldn't, adhere to the time. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I pray that everything goes well. We just commit today into God's hands, and as always, I pray that takes control of today and let us do whatever that will be pleasing unto him alone. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
All right. Amen. So let's get the ball rolling. Before we go into the topic, can you just tell us a bit about yourself? Personally, I do know you, but it's not everything that I will know. So just tell us a bit about your upbringing, what has made you. You were a dad of 3. Yeah. You were a lecturer. You are doing so much for yourself. And, there are some things you want to keep it private. But yes, I respect you so much at your age. You're doing so much for yourself. And I couldn't have gotten anybody to speak about this topic because you are young and you are doing so well. So I'm so happy that I've got you to talk about this topic. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Just tell us a bit about yourself.
Hi everybody, my name is Conan Edu, popularly known as Nana to the people that I know personally, such as Auntie Diana here. She knows me as Nana, but my official government name is Conan Edu, and I am a teacher. As Auntie just said, I'm a teacher. I teach at a secondary school to post-16 learners and also GCSE learners, I guess. So people learning business and economics. So I am an economist. And this is why I have such an interest in the management of money, in the management of debt, etc., etc. And a bit about my upbringing. I grew up in a very strict Christian home, should I say. My father was very strict when it came to getting ready, go to church and make sure that you're in church doing things for church and serving at church. So in terms of that, I would say that has shaped me to become the man that I am in terms of discipline wise. And in terms of money wise, my dad started me off at a very young age in learning how to make money for myself and actually saving at a very young age. So from the age of 11, he asked me to start doing a paper round so that I can start actually building my own portfolio of savings, and I can utilize that savings one day to do something better for my life. And the only thing I will say that I did not learn from my dad is what to utilize the money for. He taught me how to save, but he did not teach me how to multiply that money. And that is something that I would say a lot of African parents don't do really well in teaching their kids. And if you're not from a well-educated background, you wouldn't really, financially educated background, you wouldn't really know how to actually multiply that money that you saved, which is a problem that we face as Africans at the moment. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That is so simple and nice.
Pleasure. It's a pleasure. Yeah.
You are married?
I am married. I am married to a very beautiful woman with 3 kids. And yeah, I mean, my wife is also as financially astute as I am, because she's literally the accountant of the household that we live in. So every single thing that's going in and out of the accounts in the household, she is very much on it, checking it to make sure that everything's on point. So I would say that as financially educated as I am, my wife is equally there too. She's interested in everything financial, so that it enables us to flourish financially together. Yeah.
I'm Conan.
I
I
know.
anyway, so now back to business.
So
Debt management. When we talk about debt management, me yi masumu nyinaa say me be tie. Maybe some questions here, and I know everybody is so interested, with this topic because there's no way you can avoid debt. It will come your way, but how do you handle it? How do we deal with it?
okay, so there are several ways to actually deal with that, but I would say the most common ways that people normally go for is debt consolidation. Okay, so people normally go with the method of debt consolidation because it's the easiest option, and that's the option that their creditors like to throw at you. The financial institutions, that's what they like to throw at you because they know that by taking out a debt consolidation loan, you're getting yourself deeper into debt. You may think, oh, that's a great deal. I want to take a debt consolidation loan of maybe 35k to be able to consolidate all my debt and make a payment of maybe £400 or £500 a month, which is one single payment coming out of my account every month, so I'm not really going to feel it, right? Really and truly, what they're doing is that interest payment alone over a longer period of time is what they're looking at, because in the longer period of time, that 35k that you've taken out, calculated in interest, is a lot more in 5-7 years time. So you're thinking I'm making a payment of £500 every month. That's hypothetically speaking, right? But really and truly, that 35k that you've borrowed, making £500 every single month, becomes a lot larger as an end product after you finish the payment. It becomes a much larger payment that you've made at the end compared to you actually just use another sort of management tool to actually manage your debt. So debt consolidation benefits the lender a lot more. It doesn't benefit you in any shape or form. They make you feel as though it is actually
helping
towards you paying your debt down and also managing your finances better, but it is not.
It's not.
Based on my experience, really and truly, I've been young before, very young before, and have been very naive in terms of spending money. Like I said, my dad taught me how to save, but he never taught me how to multiply money and actually utilize the money in a wise way. So in terms of, I did not even know what credit score was. I did not know how credit worked. And for that reason, I got a reality check one time when I wanted to apply for credit when I was 18-year-old to get myself a home studio set up. And I was declined the credit. And I called the company up to ask them why, and they said your credit score is really poor, and that's the reason why we can't give you credit. Now, I'm saying this to say that when you're not financially educated and all you know is savings and spending, you miss out on this broader picture in terms of how the credit system really works in the UK. So this is where debt management plan comes in. So when I was younger, I spent a lot beyond my means.
Yeah.
I spent way beyond my means, right? And that's the trap of the financial sort of system that we're living in the UK right here. Because credit is readily available for everyone, if you're not very careful, you are going to spend beyond your means. I've been there, I've done that, I'm not judging anyone, all right? So because of that, I got into debt. That's it. When you spend beyond your means at a very young age, you're gonna get into debt. Even right now, when you spend beyond your means, money coming in is way less than the money you're spending, and the money you're spending is all based on credit. You are going to be in debt. But one thing I would say to you is, I found a way. The problem I found myself in made me do a lot more research into how I can get myself out of the debt. So debt consolidation pops up. I read into it, not my kind of management style, because I saw that I was going to get myself into even greater debt by taking out a massive loan that I'll have to pay over the next 7 years. I wanted a mortgage. I wanted to get a house. I wanted a good life with myself and my wife and my future kids. So I did not want to do anything that would jeopardize my credit file. So what I did was I looked at something known as a debt management plan. A debt management plan is basically a plan that you set up between yourself and a very professional debt management company, and they sort of manage your debt for you. So what they do is they write to your lenders on your behalf. And when they write to your lenders, they then negotiate with your lenders to say that this person is basically struggling financially right now, even though you may not be struggling financially, right? They will negotiate that with your lenders. They would actually take all your income and expenses, and if your income is way larger than your expenses, they'll find a way to inflate the expenses as well, to make it seem like you can't afford the payment that you're making to the debt management, you're making to the lenders, right? And when that happens, they minimize the amount you're paying every single month to all these different lenders. They then basically agree one sort of amount with you to say that, okay, every month you're going to send us £350, and we're going to distribute all the £350 amongst all the lenders that you owe money to. So if you're paying, let's say, £270 on a credit card on a monthly basis, and you're paying £100 towards your one other debt that you have, and you have another credit card that you're paying £300 to, by using a DMP and having your debt managers negotiate a better deal for you, you're probably only going to be paying maybe, let's say, £150 the whole month, and that gets distributed across all your lenders. So the person you're paying £270 previously will probably be getting £15 now, and the person you were paying, let's say, £100 previously will now be getting, let's say, £5, because that's all you can afford, according to what your debt managers have said to the lenders. It's an informal agreement, I must say, so they have every right to reject the proposal. It's a proposal, informal proposal, so the lenders have every right to reject it, and they also have every right to accept it. So if you want, most of the time, 99% of the time, they do accept it, because they don't want to lose out on any payment coming from you. They want their debt to be cleared. They want the amount you owe them to be cleared. So they normally do cooperate most of the time with the debt managers to ensure that basically the amount you said you can afford, you're able to pay it. As long as you're making regular payment, initially it will impact your credit score. I will say that initially it will impact your credit score, but as long as you're making regular payment, your credit score gets fixed. It gets back to normal, and it will stay on your file for the next 6 years or so. But really and truly, it does not impact your ability to get a mortgage. Okay, so it would not impact your ability to get a mortgage in the sense that you are making payment every single month to the lenders. It may not be the full amount, but you've not defaulted on any priority debt. And there are two types of debt. There's priority debt and non-essential debt, or non-priority debt. So the main priority debt will be things like mortgage, and let's say your house bills, and of course your council tax. Those are all priority debt. And then you've got your non-priority debt, which is your credit card, your car finance. Most of the time, car finances can be classified as a non-priority debt, but some lenders classify that as a priority debt as well. So it depends on which sort of credit agency that you're using, Equifax or maybe TransUnion, depends which one it is. All right. So as long as you're making your priority debt on time, you're making payments towards your priority debt on time, you can always use the DMP to consolidate all your non-priority debt and pay the minimum that you want to pay, and that will not impact your credit file at all. Because let's say you're going for a mortgage, the lenders will ask you, how come they said you've made a default on XYZ, and you can explain to them, look, I'm on a debt management plan, and the debt management plan simply means that I'm actually making payments towards my debt, but I'm not making the full amount, so I've not defaulted at all. I am constantly making payment based on the circumstances I found myself in previously, and no mortgage lender would say no to accepting you for a new mortgage deal, especially if you've been very good with paying your priority debt. That's the most important thing. So if you owe any council tax, any rent, make sure you're paying that on time. That one is a priority that you have to pay that. If you don't, and if you have any credit card, you can always default that, but you have to default that through the right means, which is through a debt management plan, and you should be alright. So don't be scared if you've got debt. There's always ways to actually work around debt. there are certain people that may not be able to afford a DMP, right? And for that reason, they go the next step up, which is IVA. So I believe IVA is involuntary access, which means that basically you arrange you make an arrangement with, which is more formal. So the DMP is an informal, but IVAs are more formal, which means it's the next step away from basically bankruptcy. Okay, so with the IVA, you're able to tell them that, okay, look, I'm really struggling. My finances are literally really bad at the moment. I can't really do much about it. And when that happens, you're able to actually get a formal agreement between yourself and the lenders that you owe, but it has to go through a professional sort of body to be able to set this up for you, and it's legally binding, right? So which means that you can't miss out on any payment. You can't just get up and say, I'm going on holiday because I've got an extra sort of money coming into my account this month. With an IVA, it's a little bit more serious, so you have to make sure that you are actually, if every single penny that you get extra at work, you have to account for that in your IVA and tell them that, look, I've got paid £10 extra this time. How can we spread that across the debt that I owe, so that basically the lenders are getting paid, or the people you owe, the creditors, are getting paid. That's the most important thing. So after IVA, then you've got the bankruptcy, which is what you basically file that you can't afford any of your debt at all. You can't afford to pay them, and you don't have any money coming in, and for that reason you want to voluntarily proclaim that you are bankrupt. And when you file for bankruptcy, just know that that seriously impacts your credit file. So it impacts your credit file for the next 5 to 6 years. Once again, there's nothing for you to worry about. You file for bankruptcy, after 1 year of that bankruptcy, you can get your life back, right? But it stays on your file for 6 years. After 1 year of the bankruptcy, you get your life back. You can actually get a new job. You can get paid. You can get into a paying job. You can get new credit. You can get credit again. What I've seen people do when they file for bankruptcy is they actually change the whole name. They do a default. You file for bankruptcy, you clear the debt because you don't have to pay for the debt. If you file for bankruptcy, it means you can't afford to pay the debt. You don't have any means to pay the debt, and for that reason, that debt is written off, completely written off. And for that reason, for you to be credit worthy again, you need to use a different sort of identity, and that's what most people do. They clear the debt through bankruptcy, and they change the name completely from, let's say I'm Conan Edu, they change their name from Conan Edu to John Wayne, for example. John Wayne is a completely different person from Conan Edu. And in that way, they're able to actually be credit worthy again and build their credit score back up again. So I know people that have used the bankruptcy route, and it's worked out really, really well for them. So I don't want you to panic when you see debt. Debt is nothing scary, okay? And debt, there are so many ways to manage debt. Like I said, debt consolidation, debt management. You've got debt management, you've got debt consolidation, and then you've got your bank IVAs, and you've got the bankruptcy route that you can use as well. And in other situations, you can just literally have a conversation with the creditors. They need to work with you, right? They need to work with you. If they don't work with you, they're not getting their money. So they need to work with you. If you feel like you're really, really struggling, always be open and honest with the creditors. They are humans. They will listen to you. They will speak to you. They will actually hear you out and work with you to ensure that they are getting their money paid. They're getting their money. Whichever way they're going to get the money, they're going to get it. Even if you're paying them £5 a month, £10 a month, they want it. Right? So just have a conversation with them. Open and honest conversation with them and say, look, I am struggling. Is there any way you can give me some breathing space? That's a professional term that they use. Breathing space simply means, look, for these next few months, I just can't make any payment. Can you give me some time to actually just reorganize myself so that I can start making payments again? And even when I start making payments, I can't make this sort of level of payment anymore. Can we agree a new sort of amount that I can make to you every single month, so that I can also live like a normal human being? Because at the end of the day, your standard of living is really important. they have a duty of care to ensure that whatever amount you're paying does not impact on your standard of living. It's really important. If it's going to impact on your standard of living, they can't take that amount from you. They have to work with you. And that's one thing you need to understand. You've got the power as a consumer to always have that conversation with them and say, look, this £150 I'm paying on a monthly basis is way too much for me due to the cost of living crisis. I can't afford it. Is there any way we can actually renegotiate the amount I'm paying you on a monthly basis? Or is there any way I can get some breathing space to reorganize myself properly? And after I've reorganized myself, is there any way we can actually reduce this amount so that I can actually manage the debt better and I can still maintain my standard of living? And they have to do that. They're bound by the terms of the FCA to do that, because at the end of the day, otherwise they're going against regulation. Yeah. And another thing I will say to you is, don't get in debt in the first place. Right? You make mistakes, right? We've made mistakes. We've learned from the mistakes, and we've been able to acquire so much knowledge on how to get out of that mistake that we've made. Okay, but one thing I would say to you is you need to be very conscious of how you spend money. Don't get into debt in the first place. The best way to actually manage your finances properly is to have a budget. Have a budget. Like I said at the very beginning of the video, our household is treated like a business. We treat our household like a business. Okay, we are a business, and for that reason, my wife is the accountant of the business. We have a whole spreadsheet. We used to have a spreadsheet actually, but now it's easier to just write it down and just look at what's coming in, what's going out, and what we need to do, what is going towards savings, what's going towards investment. That is some of the things you need to really put into consideration in terms of managing money. You need to manage money. You don't just spend money. Money comes in. That's your income. As a business, what do you do with that income? How are you allocating that? What are you allocating that income to? You know, you're not just spending for the sake of spending. You make £1,000 a month. Okay, how much are you allocating towards your savings? How much are you allocating towards your rent? How much are you allocating towards food? And how much are you allocating towards transportation? You always need to pay yourself first. No matter how much you're making, if you're making £1,000 on a monthly basis, to ensure that you as a person or as a business, you have a safety buffer, you need to pay yourself first. How much you put into your savings. You also need to be able to think future. You need to be able to think progressively in terms of the future. What do you want to see financially? What progress do you want to see in your life? That's where the investment pot comes in as well. How much am I allocating towards my investment? You know, what can I do to ensure that I have something left in my pocket that I can spend, so that I'm not tempted to touch my savings. I'm not tempted to touch my investment pot, and I'm not overspending, so that I'm not able to pay my rent. That's what you need to be thinking about. How can I allocate funds in a way whereby I'm not having to rely on credit? I'm not having to rely on taking personal loans. I'm not having to rely on taking out credit cards. Like I said, I'm not perfect. I've been there, I've done that. I've utilized credit cards in the past. I cancelled my credit card straight as soon as I realized how much you get sucked into the routine of using credit card all the time. And it's just making you poorer. You don't want that. So that is just my little nugget that I would like to share with you, my piece of advice. As young people, or as a young person, don't start off with debt. Think about how you're going to manage your money better, which is basically educating yourself on how to use a budgeting tool. That's how you're going to get wealthy. You don't get wealthy from the income you get at work. You get wealthy from utilizing the income you get at work in a smart way, which means you're allowing your money to work hard for you. not you killing yourself doing 12-hour shifts for 6 days a week. That's how you do it.
Wow. Wow. Anybody want to ask some questions? If you don't have questions, me, I have questions. So, now, wow, this is an eye-opening section for me, honestly. Someone will say, my husband was just passing through and say, hey, lectures. The broth is brothalizing. Hey! Wow, I'm so impressed, and I'm honored. So much information to take in. So much information to take in within this short possible time. And I know that we have all learned something. But I want to ask you, if in case like I have debt, okay, to settle, which one should I settle first? Is it the smallest amount or the big amount?
Okay, so that is known as the snowballing method for settling debt, right? So there's two types actually. There's a debt avalanche, and we've got the debt snowball. So with the snowballing effect, you pay the smallest debt first, and then you work your way up to the highest debt. So when you pay off the smallest debt first, you get that sense of achievement that, oh, I've been able to pay this debt off, and that is really rewarding for yourself, and it motivates you to move on to the next level of debt, pay that off. Once you've paid that off, you even feel more of a sense of achievement, and that enables you and propels you to actually pay off the next level of debt, and intrinsically you become a lot more motivated. And as you're becoming more intrinsically motivated, the more debt you're able to pay off, and before you know it, you've cleared all your debt. So that's called the snowballing effect. So you start with the smallest debt first, and then you pay off the highest debt last. So the largest amount you leave to last, the smallest amount you pay first. And then when it comes to interest, which is known as the debt avalanche, you pay the debt with the highest interest first, because you don't want that eating away all your monthly income. Because let's say you've got a credit card that has a 12% APR, or a credit card that has a 25% APR, versus a loan that you took out maybe 2 years ago that has a 3.5% interest. You need to pay off that 25% APR first, because that is more debt for you compared to that £10,000 you took at 3.5%. So highest interest first, then you work your way to the lowest interest.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was thinking that I have to do the highest because that one is attracting more, how do we say it? Because when you take out a loan and that is a big amount, the interest is more on that loan.
Okay.
So I was thinking that it's good that I pay that first. But what you're saying really makes sense, because it energizes you to do more. So by the time that you've paid off the smallest amount, it makes you save to also clear off the bigger amount, which is it's also
exactly. And just to add to what you said, so as you're paying off the smallest amount, the amount that you've cleared off, you can actually basically add that to what you're paying for the largest amount. So let's say the largest amount you're paying £250 a month, right? And the smallest amount you were paying £95 a month. Now that you've cleared off the debt that you were paying £95 towards, you can add that £95 to the £250, which means you're able to pay off your debt even faster now.
faster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But always go with the highest interest first. If it comes between interest rate and actually the smallest debt, the ones with the highest interest is a killer. It kills wealth. So tackle that first, get that out of the way.
Wow.
Yeah.
So if I want to pay off a loan or debt, is it advisable for me to use my personal income to pay off that debt, or what would you advise?
So this goes back to the whole kind of made when it, in terms of budgeting, right? It is always advisable to budget in a way whereby you can allocate funds towards paying off your debt. So after you've paid all your priority bills, you've paid all your priority debt, etc., all the other debts that you have, you need to start tackling them. And that's where the budget comes in. When you have a budget, you'll be able to know how much you've allocated towards paying off those debt. I mean, if you're not in a position to really pay off those debt, then the debt management the debt management strategies that I mentioned earlier on are always available to you. Use a DMP. Speak to professionals. Let them help you. If you're really struggling, there are charities out there such as Step Change that can help you. You can speak to a free advisor and they'll be able to advise you on what to do. Another thing you could do is, if you're really struggling, there's something known as a 0% balance transfer card, right? Transfer your debt to that 0% transfer card. Normally it's for 12 months. So let's say you've got credit card with a balance of 7,500 here, and you're paying, let's say, 3.5% on that or 4% on that annually. Really and truly, the smartest thing for you to do, if you're struggling with that debt, will be to transfer that debt to a 0% balance transfer card. So when you transfer it there, you're not paying any interest at all. You're literally just, if you're diligent, you'll be able to pay off that debt quicker, because the capital repayment that you're making will enable you to pay that debt off a lot faster, rather than your money going towards more interest payment. So the problem we have with high interest credit cards is, by, let's say you're paid £250 towards the interest card debt, a lot of that is going towards interest. So that credit card debt that you're paying, a lot of that £250 you're paying is going towards interest payment, right? But if you're able to transfer that onto a 0% balance transfer card, it means that £250 will actually go towards paying off the debt. So you're making more capital repayment, your principal goes down over time, and which means you can clear that debt off quicker. If you start to the credit card that you have at 4%, it means that most of that £250 is going towards paying your interest off, rather than making capital repayment. Yeah. So it's always good, if you feel like you're really struggling, there are always ways around it. Find yourself a 0% balance transfer card, transfer your debt onto that 0% balance transfer card, and then make that capital repayment diligently within the time scale that you have. Most of these cards are between 12 months to 18 months before they start charging interest. Alright, so if you're able to make your payment and clear that debt off between that 12 months to 18 months, there's no reason why you should have any problems in terms of down the line, in terms of clearing that debt off.
This is very informative. So let's say I'm a young girl growing up, and as we all started life, I didn't have much income coming in, so I tend to resort in credit cards, and now I've gotten myself into a bad debt. How will I be able, what are the steps that I have to take to be able to come off that?
The debt.
Like before I entered into marriage, uni, at the age of 18, I started buying things, just to look good. I went and took a mortgage, but my income, I'm not really doing that 2 jobs or whatsoever. I'm just thinking of just borrowing and borrowing and borrowing. And I've come to a point whereby I can't enemy. and I don't know how to go about it. there's no way out. I don't know. Is there any way, a strategy you can help me to be able to come off before I enter into marriage? Because I cannot do my.
So there's a saying: when there's a will, there's always a way. Okay, when there's a will, there's always a way. So with this, I'll not even advise you to use debt consolidation or use debt management plans or whatever, because at the end of the day, you're still young. You want to actually progress and make better strides. Okay, so what I will say to you is, in this case, you're young. You need to work harder. You need to work more. Just work more. Get yourself another source of income. You need yourself another source of income to be able to clear that debt off a lot faster. I've had to do that in the past. Get myself a second job to be able to clear off my debt, because one thing that I will say is a wealth killer is debt. You can't create wealth when you're in debt. You need to be able to kill off that debt first before you can create wealth. The quickest way to be able to kill off that debt is to actually pay off that debt. And the best way to do that is for you to actually get yourself another job. Get yourself another side hustle, another side income, and pay off the debt. There's no easy way out of it. I'm sorry. There's no easy way out of it. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Be hard working to pay it off. Otherwise, I can't progress in life.
No, unfortunately, that is a massive wealth killer. You shouldn't be scared of it, but you must be able to manage it really well. And there are two types of debt. As I was saying, there's priority debt, and priority debts are normally good debt. So things such as mortgages are priority debt, and they're good debt, because at the end of the day, a mortgage actually enables you to purchase yourself an asset, an appreciating asset, not a depreciating asset. Some people use HPs, etc., to purchase themselves depreciating assets, right? And some people use mortgages to get themselves appreciating assets. The choice is yours. Are you going for the good debt? Or are you going for the bad debt, which are non-essential or non-priority debts? It's something for you to really think about. And another thing is, I'm not demonizing people that use HPs to purchase themselves a car or anything like that. It depends on your personal circumstances. Okay, I, for one, am an advocate for people using the leasing method to purchase themselves a car. The reason why I advocate that is because at the end of the day, by using a HP to purchase a car, as soon as you drive the car off the forecourt of them from the dealership, the car.
And I think you were breaking that side. You said, can you say that again?
Oh, I'm saying
it's
that
very important.
I'm not one to demonize people for using HP to purchase cars, because when I was younger, I've done it in the past, and it suited my circumstances then. But at the moment, as I've grown a lot wiser financially, I always say to people, it's either you buy the car cash or you lease the car. The reason why I advocate leasing is due to the fact that by driving the car on the lease, you don't have to worry about MOT, you don't have to worry about servicing, you don't have to worry about the maintenance of the car at all. The leasing company takes care of all of that. And at the end of it all, you just give the car back. And because you're giving the car back, you only pay a fraction of the amount that you would normally pay if you're paying the full HP price. Because you're paying a fraction of the amount, you're not really spending a lot towards a depreciating asset. If I was to buy the car cash, right? Let's say the car costs £35,000. That's the full amount. The car's mine forever. I don't have to worry about paying down debt or anything like that. If I have that savings available, that is one of the best ways to actually purchase a car. But then again, is it dependent on your circumstances? Is it the best financial move for you? So it's always situation. It depends on. You have to evaluate your situation at all times. If you know that £35,000 can be put towards something better for you, then I would say leasing is the best next alternative for you. The reason why I say that is because with leasing, You're not purchasing a car at £35,000. You're purchasing the car at a fraction of the price. So perhaps rather than paying £35,000, you're most likely going to be paying perhaps £15,000 spread over 3 years. So you don't see the money. You don't feel it. It doesn't hurt your pocket. You don't have to worry about servicing that car as well. You don't have to worry about MOT in that car. You don't have to worry about maintenance of that car at all. It is a responsibility of the leasing company to do so for you. So every year they will call you and say your car is due for servicing, your car is due for MOT, and they'll sort all of that out. So imagine driving a brand new car every 3 years and you're paying a fraction for that every single 3 years. If you can afford to buy the car cash, fair enough. You buy it, you keep it, and you don't worry about buying another car down the line in the foreseeable future. If you're someone that likes to change cars quite regularly, and you feel like you can put the 35k towards a better investment, then so be it. Because at the end of the day, me paying 35k for a car will be, which is a depreciating asset. As I said, I'm an economist, right? And I'm always thinking about the economy, thinking about inflation, thinking about interest rates going up and down. I'm always calculating stuff like that in my head. So I'm thinking, if I was to put 35 grand in a property right now, in the next in the foreseeable future, that 35 grand would be able to withstand inflation a lot better than me purchasing a car for 35 grand, and inflation will eat that money away. As soon as I drive that car off the forecourt, like I said, I've lost value on the car. So it's all based on your situation and your financial circumstances as well. But I must say that a lot of the wealthy people that I know, they tend to go with the leasing route because they don't want to keep a car that is going to eat away their it's going to eat away their finances in the first place. Yeah. So always evaluate your circumstance first before you make any financial move. Whether it's going to be a HP, whether it's going to be a lease, whether you're using a lease option or whether you're buying the car outright. It is all based on your financial situation. I know in our culture, in our Ghanaian culture, a lot of people frown upon leasing, and in Ghana especially, people tend to just buy cars cash or purchase a property cash and stuff like that. But if you know how to manipulate money and use money to make money, then I don't think you should be scared using credit. You should not be afraid of using credit to make money. And that is one of those ways to be able to avoid long-term debt and paying for MOT, paying for this, maintaining the car, doing that, which is all headache. Just go the leasing route. Get them to take care of the headache for you. But if you've got the cash to do so and it's not going to affect you in any shape or form, then buy the car.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Any question? Lady Prissy.
Yes. Hello.
hello. Thanks for following Diana's diary and showing me love all the time.
You're welcome.
Ask our facilitator any question.
Yes, I am. Good evening, and thank you so much for your education.
It's a pleasure.
I've really learned a lot today. But I have one question. You were talking about the debt management. Okay, finding a company to help you to renegotiate the repayment terms of your debt.
Yeah.
So I have a little question about that. If I'm thinking, if they are able to reduce the loan amount, wouldn't it affect the number of years it's going to take you to repay the loan? And I'm thinking the longer the years, the higher the amount you're going to pay, because it's going to be spread out for a longer time, and in the long run, wouldn't it affect the amount of money you're going to pay at the end of the day?
Thank you, Prissy, for asking the question in the first place. Okay, so the secret to this is with DMPs, after 6 years, the debt gets written off. Right?
Okay.
So after 6 years, that's the trick. So you paying through a debt management plan means that essentially you're paying a fraction of what you normally pay, and after 6 years your debt's written off because they can't do much about it. After 6 years, you don't unless you're stuck with paying them the amount you're paying them every single month, in terms of you agree that you're going to pay them £275 a month after you've taken out a loan, and you stick to the loan term, then that is it, that you have to basically honor the deal. But if you've gone through a DMP and you say that basically, well, I can't afford to pay the 275 we initially agreed on, and for that reason I can only contribute £30 towards it every single month, and they accept that. First of all, the benefit to you is they freeze the interest. So you're not making any payment with interest anymore. All you're doing is making capital repayment. And after the 6 years, the debt is gone. The debt gets wiped away.
Thank you so much for clarifying that, because I was thinking about it. I'm like, isn't it going to affect you in the long run with this management thing? Thank you for clarifying that.
That's a pleasure.
You, Prissy, thank you so much for coming to ask your question. I appreciate you so.
Thank you too.
Anybody else? That was a perfect answer. Mr. Benda, you are welcome to the anniversary. And Benda, who is listening to you?
I mean, I will say that one thing that we don't really do well as a sort of, should I say, it's a cultural thing. We don't educate our young people on how to manage money effectively. Churches have a role to play in this. I feel like the whole concept of money needs to be explained on a deeper level for young people to understand how money works. Money is a liquid asset, right? Money comes in, money goes. You need to know how to utilize money for it to build that wealth you're looking for you. Once again, money is a liquid asset. It flows very easily. If you don't utilize it properly, it will flow like Nigeria oil pipeline. It will go. It will go, unfortunately. So that's why I feel like it is imperative that churches nowadays, or even as households, we need to educate our young ones properly to ensure that they understand money, they understand investment. What should I be putting my money into? Where should my money be going? From a very young age. For example, my wife and I, we've started our kids off from investing from a very young age, and they're not even, one of them is not even a year old yet, and it's got investment already. Wow. Right? Because you need to start them off on the right foot. When they get to the age whereby they understand how investment works, you need to, they would then carry on. But for them to be able to understand how investment works, you as a mom, you as a dad, you need to learn how investment works in the first place. And you should not be afraid to take the risk of investment as well. And that's the only way where you can build that generational wealth and maintain that generational wealth. You educate yourself and you educate the young people in your household as well.
This is great. You know, you're talking about, I know you are very young, you and your wife, and you are doing so well. So I just want to take this opportunity and ask this for a young couple that is also, you know, in this marriage situation but entangled with debt, because the gentleman came in the marriage to start off with debt. You know, we know how to manage it. He hasn't paid it off. The lady also came in, okay, with debt. And at the moment, this is something that is not making them happy in the marriage, because both of them are struggling not to think about how to start making life for their children. And they have, let's say, two kids now. what advice would you give to this couple? I know that you just advised this single lady that has started off with debt and has not married yet, and you've given her the advice of doing extra job just to pay off the debt.
Yeah.
But in this situation, we are married couples, and we've all come into the marriage with debt. I haven't paid off mine. My husband also came with so many things that he needs to settle, and all the time we are so much stressed. Nothing that it's not making us enjoy the marriage.
Mm.
Is there anything that you can help this couples with regards to paying off the debt and starting life?
And they've got 2 kids.
Yeah.
Okay. Firstly, I would say to them, don't go for any more loans. Don't use credit to try and manage the situation you find yourself in. Avoid it. Avoid using credit because you're not using credit in a positive way in the first place. Okay, so don't use credit to try and solve the situation you find yourself in. I.e., don't go for any more credit cards. I.e., if you have any credit cards, put a stop to it. If you have, don't go for personal loan. The next thing I will advise them to do, second step, would be for them to actually, one of them, i.e., the man, needs to work a bit harder. The man needs to bring more money home, which means the man needs to find another job.
That's true.
So the main job that they have, they can work that. If they don't work on the weekend, they need to find themselves a weekend job. Once again, it depends on the job that they do. If it's a job that requires them to work on the weekend, or if it's a rota-based job, then of course, whichever days that they're not rostered to work, they can find a job that is also flexible enough for them to be able to actually work on the days that they're off to make an extra income. That extra income should go towards paying off the debt, not to go towards the household income. It should go towards paying off debt. That's another way I would advise them. And there are many jobs out there. If you know how to drive, Amazon Flex is one of the best ways to make some money. I'm telling you now, Amazon Flex is a very good way to make extra income to pay off that debt that you need. Another way would be for both couples to actually use the DMP method, so the debt management plan method. Speak to an advisor, speak to a professional, and let them tell them about the situation you find yourselves in. I would say that's the number one step actually, so that they can contact all your lenders, your creditors, to put a stop to any interest charges that they're charging you, and also build a better financial plan for you, which will enable you to have some sort of breathing space to get a breather. Because if you're paying too much towards debt, you can't enjoy life. So by speaking,
way that they are able to hold interest on your debt.
Most of the time, when they speak to the creditors normally agree to freeze the interest as well. Yeah.
Really?
And I'm speaking from experience. I've been there. The creditors agreed to all the creditors that I had. They froze all the interest. Which meant that the only thing
you just pay the principal.
Yeah, just pay the principal amount. That's all I was paying. That was all I was paying. And it was very effective because it meant that I was making a tiny amount I was paying a tiny amount every single month, and I had a lot more left over in my pocket, which meant I could have a better quality of life with my wife and kids. And also, at that time, I found myself a second job. Amazon Flex was the one. I did it. And it worked out really well. And I paid off my debt. And I'm now in a much better place. So whatever extra money I make, it now goes towards investment and savings.
Thank you so much. What I want to add to what you just said for the couples, with my personal experience and what you just said with you and Philomena, you mentioned that you have like a book or like a spreadsheet monthly, you pay yourself, which is the savings. Okay.
Yeah.
Then you do all the expenses. This money has to go there. This has to go there. I think it's really works in marriages, and I just want to say it out there to whoever that is going through financial difficulties or doesn't know how to manage debt. It helps couples, and I just want to add it to yours that because it's helping you and it's been helping me and my husband. You just at the end of the month, every month, just put your monies together. How much your husband got, whatever amount that the lady got, you need to be transparent enough just to bring the money together. And you say, this is the money that we are saving. This is how much we are putting into groceries. We paying the car. We're doing that. We're doing that. And at the end of the day, it helps you to move faster in life. It helps you to move faster in life. So couples, just be transparent. As Nana have said so many things, you can let the creditors come in and write off the interest and pay the principal. Get this debt settled, pay it off, because if it's still behind you, you can't enjoy life. You can't enjoy life. If you have debt in front of you, it's like it diminishes the laugh.
Yep.
It diminishes the laugh. So get it sorted and plan well with your husband. Be transparent. Be so humble to listen to your husband. And husbands, like Nana was saying, the wife is the accountant.
Yep. She's the accountant of the house. And she's very good at what she does as well.
Women, we are good though.
She's
If
very
we
good.
have the chance, we will operate. We are directors. We will direct you the right way to go. And if you listen to us, your life will be so, smooth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that was the little that I wanted to add up. Anybody else? It's been a great one. So someone said, Baby Rosie, she said, oh, nice topic. Thank you, Diana. Oh, thank you, Rosie. Amazing. Learning so much. Thank you. Someone is saying to you, Nana. You've done. Wouldn't it affect the total amount to be paid? The lower the repayment amount, the longer years off. I think Lucy was asking a question. I think when you were talking about paying.
Oh, I think she mentioned she asked a question, and that same question is the one she verbally asked, and I responded to that. But I've seen a few questions here. So what are the best investment recommended, and would you advise a young person to get a credit card if used in the correct way? So favored
Joy.
Favored Mon.
Oh, favored moon. Yeah.
So with favored Mon, I would say that the best. I mean, it depends on your risk tolerance. Okay. I'm not very tolerant when it comes to risk, so I always go with ETFs and index funds. So ETFs and index funds, and also when you have that level of capital, properties. But if you're someone that is starting off with investment, I would say that your risk tolerance is probably very low at the moment. So I would say you need to go and open yourself a brokerage account, such as Fidelity or Vanguard, and purchase yourself some stocks and shares ISAs. And the best way to do this will be to, like I said, the one I personally use with myself and my kids and my wife is Fidelity. That's our brokerage account, and we normally purchase our stocks and shares every single month. So it's like a direct debit. So you're paying yourself. That's how we pay ourselves first. So we've set up a direct debit that goes straight into our brokerage account, and the brokerage account then basically buys the stocks that we've allocated it to buy every single month, and then it grows our funds for us. So some of the best funds to purchase will be the S&P 500 and also the FTSE 100 and the FTSE 250. So the S&P 500 is the top 500 companies in America. Okay, the top 500 companies in America, which means that if you put your money into it, you're not going to go broke. Your money is going to do well. It's going to outperform inflation at all times. You're always going to outperform the market. And another investment choice you could make is the FTSE 100, which is a 100 biggest company here in the UK, and they have a very large market cap, which means that by putting your money in there or by investing your money in there, you can't go wrong. Your money will grow exponentially for you. Another one to put your money into would be the FTSE 250, or nowadays tech is doing extremely well. So if you want, you can put your money into the World Technology Fund, and that would actually accumulate funds for you and grow your funds for you. So that is some of the ways to do it. And I would say once you become a lot more risk tolerant and you're able to take more risk due to the fact that you've been able to build a solid foundation in terms of your investment, you can look into the more riskier ways of actually investing, such as investing into more riskier funds, because the more riskier funds you put money into, the more money you make, because they have a much larger return on investment compared to the more sort of subtle, more risk adverse sort of funds. Yeah, so that's some of the things you need to put into consideration. But I would definitely say that for a newbie going into investment, the S&P 500 is a very good way to start, and you're guaranteed to make 10% return every single year, which is much better than putting your money in a bank account. You're going to see your funds grow a lot quicker than leaving your money in a high yield savings account. 10%, no bank will ever give you 10%. No bank will ever give you 10% annualized. Whereas if you put your money into the S&P 500, you are guaranteed that you are going to get between 7% to 7.5% minimum to 10% annualized. The maximum I've seen is 4.5% on a normal high yield savings account. So do the maths. You're always going to outperform inflation. The only time whereby inflation outperformed investment was during the lockdown period, where due to economic uncertainty, the markets just reacted crazily. It reacted crazily to the point whereby it just dropped the value of shares, and just dropped. And for that reason, those are very rare circumstances, and those are circumstances beyond our control. But don't forget, the market will always fight back and beat inflation. So that's what I will say to you. S&P 500, and stay in there for the long term. Be a long-term investor, not a short-term one. And I've seen there, would you advise a young person to get a credit card if used in the correct way? I mean, I'm not going to demonize credit cards. You need a credit card to build your credit history. You need to be able to utilize credit for creditors to know that you can manage credit responsibly. And for that reason, as long as you're a young person that can utilize credit in a wise way, why not? When I was trying to build my credit history, after I learned from my past mistakes, what I was doing was I'll use the credit card that I had to buy fuel, knowing that I've got money allocated or budgeted for fuel already. I will not be using that money to buy my fuel. I'll use the credit card to buy the fuel. So if I have a budget of maybe £300 budgeted for fuel, I'll use that credit card to buy the fuel, and at the end of the month, or when it comes to the billing period for the credit card, I'll use the budget that I have for the fuel to pay that off, so that I'm constantly making my payment. I'm making full repayments every single month. So that's how you can utilize credit in a smart way. Always make sure that you have money budgeted for what you want to spend on that credit card, so that when it comes to making the full payment, you've made that full payment.
I don't like credit. I don't misroka papa. like these experiences, thank God that like coming from Ghana and all that, I don't, Africa, where we were, what will be a free idea, no, be like general. They are coming, facing the person. I used to say in a compound house, then they like to do buy and pay later. Then the shop people will come to your house and say that, hey, oh mom, you're the go to you, sister. So I don't know, it was like a stigma. And up till now, I thank God that I experienced that, because no, it's just little debt, and that kind of embarrassment and that kind of thing. Ghana, oh my God. So like I realized, understanding that credit card, I just want to add like my experience. Of course, as I understand it. So when I came to this country, I'm like, I don't want to do that. Then I realized that I think there was a bank manager that I went to speak to when I wanted to get a house. And he was like, you need, credit card. And the way you are credit worthy, you want to buy and pay. Like you are using your card and all that. The way I used my card, it was so impressive. He said, I'm going to give you a credit card, and this is what you're going to do. Just keep buying like the way you are saying. Buy the stuff with a credit card, and at the end of the month, just pay it. Because I had a backless card. Is it the debit card, the Visa one?
Yeah.
I'll just be spending, and I've never taken that. They have overpayments, something they put on your account and those kind of things. No. So it was like, just take the credit card. And I took the credit card, and this is what I've been doing. And if you see my credit score, okay, it's brilliant. All right. And this is what I want to advise everybody on Diana's Diary. Like the lady was asking, as a young girl, you are growing up, you want to be able to establish yourself, you want to do so many things, you can do it, but the credit is very important. Yes, get yourself maybe a credit card, 1 or 2, and like Nana said, be paying it off at the end of the month. Do you shop with it, like, because you don't do credit, you are working and everything? Use the credit card to be doing it, and by the time, even before, set a direct debit, maybe £200. You know that you are buying all the time, you spend monthly £300. So set a direct debit so that you don't forget, and this will shoot you up whatever credit or whatever asset, like mortgages, whatever you want to invest. People will be chasing you. People will be chasing you because you are credit worthy.
Yep.
And that is what is working for me.
Yeah.
And I'm more than happy to just let everybody, a young girl growing up, want to go into marriage, don't be doing credit. Get yourself 1 credit card or 2. That the other one that Nana you mentioned, that you can transfer.
Yeah, the balance transfer card.
Yeah, the bank transfer. If you have 2 credit cards, you can do that, because sometimes they give you the 0%. And you can invest if you have maybe 14,000 and you want to go into rentals. You can use that 14,000 as a deposit. This is advice. Come on, just do that, and at the end of the year, you can just pay it off without paying any interest, or you can use it to do a smart investment. Yeah, so credit card is not bad. It depends on how you are going. Don't get yourself so many credit cards. It doesn't work. It's not worth it. Sana, thank you so much. Thank you so much. There's a lady, Margaret Akayi. Nana will be going to work tomorrow.
Can you advise on cryptocurrency? I think I'll take this as the sort of last question, unless someone else has got anything else to say. I think that's the last question, really and truly. So, can you advise on cryptocurrency? Me personally, back in the day, I did invest a bit into crypto, but it was not for me. Okay, it's just not for me due to the fact that I am a long-term investor, and I preferred putting money into 500 and the FTSE 250, FTSE 100. I found that a lot more. It suited my investment style compared to crypto. At the point when there was a wave on, oh, put money into Ethereum. If you put £1,000 into Ethereum, before you know, we're gonna get £6,000, and that wave actually came. That wave was the thing, and at that point, I know even my own personal brother put 5k into it, thinking that that wave was going to pick up even stronger for him to pull money out and go and buy many properties with it. But unfortunately, that wave died down very quickly. So crypto fluctuates a lot. Crypto is not it doesn't give you that guarantee and reassurance that you need as an investor, right? And
You need to be monitoring it all the time.
yeah,
If
so
you have
that
time.
is, if you can do it, then that's
Yeah.
perfectly fine. If you're
Fine.
someone that can actually monitor the crypto sort of market and pull out the money at the right time, that is completely fine. But for me, I don't have that time, so I'll rather just make my safe investment and just
Long term.
exactly, and just let it to build wealth over time. So for someone that is 18, 19, 20, or even anyone that is younger than 30, starting now to invest into a brokerage, sets up a brokerage account right now and put in even £100, £200, some sort of S&P 500 or into 250. I always recommend S&P 500 because that one is you're guaranteed that 7.5 to 10% annual annualized return every single year. And with that, I would say that just put the money in there. It's a long-term investment. By the time you touch 40, 45, you're going to have a whole lot of money. So it's compound interest, right? And compound interest is a powerful tool rather than actually waiting to use to gain money from the bank over simple interest. You don't want that. Let the power of compound interest work on your behalf. Like Christians say, let the power of the blood of Jesus work on your behalf. If you're talking financial terms, the power of compound interest is very powerful. You need to understand the concepts of power of compound interest and allow that power of compound interest to work for you. So I would always advise, if you have the time for crypto, do crypto. But you need to know what you're doing. Yeah, you need to know what you're doing. But for me, I'm a long-term investor and I believe in the power of compound interest. So I just do that. Yeah.
It's been how do I confess? I'm I'm overwhelmed with all your submission, everything. I'm impressed. It's very, very educative, like somebody rightly wrote down in the comment section. Very, very informative, very, very educated. And thank you so much, Conan. Thank you so much. There's a question here, my lady Margaret. He has to go, okay? But I'm promising you that he will come back. He will definitely come back. But Conan, I know that you do lectures, you do tickets. Can you just advertise a little bit so that people that are here can hear of you and also bring their children, because I know you are doing so well with the youth, and I just want you to tell us the company name and what you do.
Certainly. Hi, once again, my name is Conan Odu, the founder of the Legacy Chain Limited. And at the Legacy Chain Limited, we believe in actually providing world-class education for children. I mean, at the end of the day, not everyone can afford to take their child to private school. So this is where we come in. We provide world-class education, private school standard, to your kids at a fraction of the price that a private school is charging you. So we give them one-to-one sort of tuition at home. We work with them, whether it's maths, English, all the sciences at GCSE A level, whether it's chemistry, physics, biology. We work with them to ensure that they get the grades that they need to be able to achieve their academic goals and actually make strides and beyond. Okay, so we're here for you. We want to work with you and work with your children to ensure that they turn the academic sort of journey around for the better in the foreseeable future as well. Because I'm very sure, coming from a African background, we all want to make sure that our children are making academic strides, and this is why we believe that we're the right people to help you ensure that your children are making those academic strides and beyond. We have a track record of enabling turning students around from the grade U in economics, maths, business into grade A's and A star for A level. So why not? If you ever need to get in touch, my business line is the one that Auntie Diana normally contacts me on anyway. So which is 0783347.
Let me put it down here. What's the number again?
078
78
33
33
47
47
48
48
34.
34. So it's 07833474834.
Yes, and we've also got a business telephone number which is 0208
1 minute. 0208
106
106
98
98
95.
So both numbers are on the screen, and please, like you said, if you can't afford a private tuition for your child, phone and what's the business name again?
The Legacy Chain Limited.
Lexa Chain.
The Legacy, so like outside
The Legacy. Hey, maybe
Legacy.
I'm from Queen Boy. English. British. Okay, the Legacy Chain. The Legacy Chain. All right. So, do you guys do one-to-one, face-to-face, or you can do online as well in case the person is not in Northampton? Or where are you based? Is it just Northampton, or are you in London, or where are you?
We're everywhere. So we are literally online based. We don't come in person anymore. Only child is able to comfortably study from home, and our tutors are able to comfortably tutor from wherever they are to ensure that your child is actually getting the best sort of service from us. And we've been doing this for a few years now, and it's proven to be very effective. So I don't ever see us going back into driving to people's houses, which is basically a lot more environmentally unfriendly anyway. So the way we're doing it is more environmentally sustainable, and it actually benefits both the parents and the tutor anyway. So I would say that we're everywhere, and we're very happy to work with each and every one of you and your children. And most of our tutors that work for us are actually from Oxbridge University. So I myself graduated from UCL, and most of the tutors that we work with are from UCL. So we'll be very happy to work with you.
Yeah, from UCLY. Hey. Hey. Yes. And so you guys, you specialize in mathematics, economics, science, and what else?
Business, geography, psychology. We have tutors for all of that. Yeah.
Please, you all, I want you to reach out, and they are very affordable. You want to quote the price, or every subject depends on the price, because
Yeah.
price na amount for.
So we don't give you an upfront cost. We don't give you a price upfront. What we do is to ensure that we are providing you with the best service, and we've quoted you fairly. We do an initial assessment. We do an initial assessment to be able to understand the particular needs of your children or of your child, and then from there we'll be able to then put together a strategic plan to be able to suit, which is tailored to the needs of your child, to ensure that they are able to turn things around. Because without us actually building a strategic plan to suit your child's needs, there's no point of us choosing them at all. And for that's the reason why the package varies. So you may only need an hour a week some children may need 2 hours a week, some children may need 4 hours a week. So it all depends, and that's why we need to sit down, have that conversation, have a free 30-minute consultation with either myself or one of the expert tutors, and then we can take things from there.
Wow. At what age to what age?
Initially, we were looking at our provision was only for Key Stage 4 to Key Stage 5, so that was GCSE and A level. But now we're looking at Key Stage 3, and we're also looking at Key Stage 2 because we've got a lot of demand from mums asking about Key Stage 2 as well. So we are thinking about extending our services to primary school students as well, especially those students that want to sit their SATs and prepare for SATs. We're very happy to work with them, and also the students that are looking to get good A-level results or build a strong foundation before the GCSEs, which are the Key Stage 3 students. We're very happy to work with them, especially if you know your child is in Year 7 or Year 8 or Year 9 and they're struggling with maths. We're here to support them to get that Key Stage 3 foundation sorted out before they actually move up into the Key Stage 4 sort of mathematics where they need to sit the GCSEs. So we do everything basically. We're here for you. We're here for you. Trust me.
Wow. We are here for you.
Yeah.
If you have listened to him, you know that he knows his stuff. He's a good teacher. I can testify. And I just want to encourage mothers, fathers, parents, reach out to me, reach out to him. The number is in the chat section. And if anything that you need is legacy.
Thank you.
Patronize me. And thank you so much, Conan. I really appreciate your input on Diana's Diary, especially on this topic. I know that it will go a long way to help so many people, and it has also helped me. Thank you so much for gracing Diana's Diary. And thank you to you that came. I'm a teacher by profession, someone is asking.
I am actually, yes, I am a teacher by profession. I teach both business and economics. I've tutored at Oxford University before. I've actually taught economics to students that are aspiring to study economics at Oxford, and for that reason, I have a wealth of experience under my belt. I lead a whole faculty, so I'm a faculty head. I lead the faculty, and I have a wealth of experience in actually guiding students. So more than happy to help.
Yeah. Yes. Come on, man, I'm ready. Hey, you can't tell a book, by its cover. Now, whatever that he has delivered shows how, what he carries. He is the sole proprietor. Hey, proprietor, me boy.
That's right.
And then there's a lady that came on Diana's Diary, and also a beauty, no proprietors. And I'm like, hey, say, more yard you, Ghana for more TNE.
Oh, Naminaye. It is a doing of the Lord.
Well, and this is what Diana's Diary is advocating for. We want everybody to be successful. We want everyone to do well. And Conan, like I always say, I'm so proud of you, and I thank you for your time. Look at the time now. And tomorrow you are going to lecture.
Thank you.
And I'm so happy that you came. And I know, say, you will come on again with another powerful